Cambridge IGCSE First Language English 0500. It's for those learners of Cambridge IGCSE whose first language is English. So let's talk about its new paper pattern applicable from 2024 June exams, syllabus and paper pattern, what the examiner will see in your answers and how to secure good grades. We will be very brief about the course exam pattern only here. If you want to know about the details of how to secure these marks and what the examiner will expect from your answer and how you have to be very much careful about that, you can join our crash course as well. So the first paper is about reading, that has 80 marks, but in total grading it has 50% weightage. And paper 2 is about writing with 80 marks, again 50% weightage in the total grading. You will have 2 hours for each paper, 2 hours for reading, 2 hours for writing. Paper reading contains 3 questions. Question 1 for 30 marks, question 2 25 marks, question 3 again 25 marks. In writing paper you have 2 sections, section A and B. Each section contains 40 marks. Section A 40 and section B 40 marks. Now you have a choice. You can choose from these 2 options. Either you can go for your writing paper or you can go for coursework, that is portfolio. You will write 3 assignments that will be assigned to you. It contains 80 marks in total. So this is optional. You can either go for writing paper 2 or you can go for coursework. These 3 assignments that again will be included at the place of writing paper and will contain 50% weightage in the total grading. And another thing that the students of first language English Cambridge IGCSE has the opportunity to do is speaking and listening test. This speaking and listening test will be endorsed separately. It will not be included in the total grading. Paper 1 reading. Question number 1 is about comprehension and summary. There will be total 30 marks for this section. In comprehension task you will have 15 marks. You will have a series of questions that you will have to respond. These questions will be from text A. Text A will be attached with your paper, with your question paper. You will read that text and will answer accordingly. Candidates respond to a series of sub-questions. Understanding of both explicit and implicit meanings will be tested through these series of questions. And this, in question number 1, comprehension task contains 15 marks. The other is the summary task that is also contains 15 marks. This question, the actually part of this question, it's same as question number 1, it's second part, summary task. It requires candidates to respond to text B. It's from text B. A selective summary task in their own words as continuous writing of no more than 120 words. So you just have to write 120 words. You have to use your own words to gain marks out of these 15 marks. And you will have to summarize the text B. That requires again your good reading skills, how quickly and how perfectly and accurately you can understand a piece of text while reading it, and how artistically, beautifully and well crafted a piece of writing you can create after reading this text. Question 2 now contains 25 marks from this reading paper. There is a series of sub-questions. Well, there are 2 sections in question number 2 as well. The first section contains 10 marks and second component of this question contains 15 marks. A series of sub-questions in response to text C that contains 10 marks. Again, it requires your ability to demonstrate well the implicit and explicit meaning of the text. So what the examiner will check in your response to these questions and what type of these questions will be. If you want to know all this, join our comprehensive course, our intensive course for First Language English Cambridge IGCSE 050000 course. Language tasks. The other will be language tasks. This question requires candidates to respond to text C. You can be asked to talk about which type of language devices the writer has used and what type of effect they made. You will be asked to select those words and phrases that the writer used to create those effects. So candidates write about 200 to 300 words answer for 15 marks. Third question and the last question in your reading paper, that is extended response to reading. It contains 25 marks. Candidates write about 250 to 350 words responding to text C in one of the following text types: letter, report, journal, speech, interview, or article. So text C, this reading text can be any type of text, including letter, report, journal, speech, interview, or article. You must be good at all these types of reading text. You must know the type of language used in this type of text and the type of audience that the writer addresses in these types of writing. So the audience, the use of language, you should be good at these skills to read well this and to understand well, so that you may write well in response to this text. What type of questions do appear in exam and what type of things the examiner do expect, what are the assessment, what are the things to be tested in these assessment questions. If you want to know all this, you must join our intensive or crash course program for first language English. And there is paper 2 for writing, 2 hours duration, 80 marks. You have 2 sections. In section A, you have 1 question that is compulsory for 40 marks. In section B, you have to attempt 1 question. You have choice to choose 1 out of 4 that contains again 40 marks. Section A is about directed writing. So candidates answer 1 compulsory question on 1 or 2 texts to totaling 650 to 750 words in length. Candidates use, develop, and evaluate the information in the text or text to create a discursive, argumentative, persuasive speech, letter, or article. So in this section, when you will write your answer, in your response, the examiner will be testing against the assessment objectives. For writing, it contains 25 marks, and your reading ability will be tested against 15 marks. In your reading ability, they will, of course, test how well you can understand the implicit and explicit meaning of the reading text and how you can use a particular piece of information to produce your piece of writing composition, your piece of written composition. So in this section, you can be asked either to create a discursive or argumentative or persuasive speech, or maybe letter or article. There can be different piece of text that you will use to create your own writing composition, so you will be directed accordingly. You will have to follow clearly the directions given in your paper. So the more you follow the direction, more good grades you secure. In section B, there are 40 marks. Candidate answers 1 question from a choice of 4 titles, 2 descriptive and 2 narrative. Unlike this section A, where you are supposed to have discursive, argumentative, persuasive speech, letter, or article type of writing, here in section B, you only have 2 types of writing that you have to compose: descriptive or narrative. There will be 2 topics from descriptive and 2 from narrative. Only written assessment objectives will be tested in your response. How greatly you achieved the assessment objectives, only written, not your reading ability, will be tested here, because here you will be given only a choice of 2 descriptive and 2 narrative topic, and you just have to use the title to develop and write a composition. The word limit for writing this section is 350 to 450 words. Student can choose this component 3 at the place of writing paper, coursework. It includes written assignments, 3 against 80 marks. Candidates submit a portfolio of 3 assignments, each of about 500 to 800 words. The assignment 1 is writing to discuss, argue, or persuade in response to a text or text. You will be given some text and you will have to read that, and then you have to write this assignment. In this assignment, your reading ability will also be assessed against reading assessment objectives and also your writing. But in second two assignments, only your writing ability will be assessed, will be tested against writing assessment objectives. What are those assessment objectives and how examiner will analyze your answer? If you want to know all this, you must attend our intensive classes for first language English 0500 for IGCSE Cambridge students. Assignment 2 is for writing to describe. You can either you can either ask to describe an event or a person or a place or some phenomena or something else like that. In assignment 3, you are asked to write a narration. So it's all about writing to narrate something, narrate an event, narrate something that happened. This component 3 uh, coursework is internally assessed but externally moderated. So internal assessment with external moderation. External examiner will contact your school and will check how perfectly they graded your work, but your own school teachers are supposed to assess your work. Last thing in this paper is speaking and listening. This is optional. Component 4, speaking and listening test. Individual talk and conversation approximately 10 to 12 minutes in total against 40 marks. This component is separately endorsed with grades of 1 high to 5 low marks. For component 4, do not contribute to a candidate's overall grade, so it will not be included in your overall grades. If you have further any question or query, you can ask in the comment section below, or if you need any help, you can contact us. All our academic support and consultancy is just free of cost, so feel free to contact us and ask your questions freely. Thanks for watching.